got your guitar, you were playing guitar now, but because I remember when you came on the radio show, it was quite obvious that you have a genuine passion for blues. That's kind of your. Yeah. I know you're in different styles of bands, like a lot of us are. We do all sorts of different things, to be working, to be gigging. But so when you started learning, did you always sort of fall back to trying to learn stuff from the blues?
I think so. Yeah, I think so, because if you start out that way, you do always, it's not a safety zone or a comfort zone, but it's what you know, isn't it? And so, and it's funny playing with different people who haven't got, where they might be slightly younger and grew up in a Britpop era, and they potentially haven't got any knowledge of the blues at all, and you can tell when they're playing because they're different types of players.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I'm sort of saying it's just a totally different way. It's alien to me because that's how I learn and what I listen to, and the people who I listen to grew up listening to blues as well. But kind of people slightly younger, they grew up listening to Oasis or someone, which isn't bluesy at all, I don't think.
No, so they wouldn't think listen to Oasis going, let's look back from Oasis where it came from.
You could go to the Beatles, but then the Beatles weren't particularly bluesy.
No.
I'd say more of like a folk band, really.
Yeah.
Obviously love the Beatles, but they, the Stones were the bluesy band, weren't they, at the time? But yeah, it's just interesting. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, I do kind of tend to fall back on that because it's what you know, and obviously playing harmonica as well. That's you can't not sound. If you're playing a blues song, you can't not sound bluesy. Well, I can. I've played a few duff notes in the past. But
And so, when did your harp playing come into play then?
I had to think about that because when we said we were going to do this, when did I start playing? And I remember going to Denmark Street when I was about 15, I think, because obviously that was the place we used to go. We used to get a travel card and just go up there from the age of, God knows, 10 or 11 and 20p travel card, and you'd be in Oxford Street in 20 minutes, from Finsbury Park. So, and even then, we were sort of gravitated towards the music shops at the time. And so, I knew all about Denmark Street, and I remember going into one of the shops and asking a fella about harmonica because I liked, obviously, I loved the bluesy, Sonny Boy Williamson and Little Water, etc. on these tapes that I still had, and Howlin' Wolf. And but I think it was more because I fancy myself as a bit of a Bob Dylan or Neil Young, so you could harness on an acoustic guitar and sort of being sort of moody and walking the streets and because they obviously play a different style of harmonica, and it's just an accompaniment, isn't it? It's like a really basic accompaniment to guitar. So I fancied one anyway, so I went to the shop and I said to I didn't know anything about them at all, and I said to the lad, and I said, I fancy a harmonica, and he did. To be fair, he sold me a C Marine Band harmonica, which is a really good one to start on. I think I got it home, I played it for about 10 minutes. It's a bit rubbish, isn't it? Because didn't know what to do, and so I put it down. And then I think it was probably about 10 years after that, I remember I found it in a box somewhere, and it was still in its case. And also I've been playing the guitar all that time, and I thought, I'll try that again. And in saying something clicked, I think I could learn to play single notes, which I couldn't do before. I was like, I can play single notes, this is good, this is interesting development. And then all of a sudden I think I sneezed or something and I bent the note, and it was like, oh, that's pretty cool, So I did that for about 6 months, like just bending one note.
Did you always try not to sneeze? Like, damn, I need to sneeze to bring it off.
It was like, oh, this is amazing, because again, I didn't know, I didn't have anyone to show me or to teach me, and you can hear things and you can try and replicate what you can hear. So it was a bit of a mystery.
That must be really hard to know how to create the sound.
Yeah, and then you don't know about different keys as well. You think, why does that sound wrong? Okay, you've got to play different songs with different keys. You've got to play a different harmonica. So that took a while. That was a bit of a longer process. But it was. I always wanted to play "Walking by Myself," Jimmy Rogers' song. I always wanted to play the solo on that, which is I think it's Walter Horton who played that. Big Walter Horton who played that, and it's got a fantastic harmonica solo in it. It's amazing. And I always wanted to play that, so I probably spent about a year trying to play that, and eventually I got kind of close to it, and I thought, actually, I can play that. I couldn't play anything else, but I could play that.
Yeah.
But if you can play something like that, you can get away with playing a lot of stuff, you know. It's, you know, and then you've got, you know, obviously, you know, Little Water stuff and Howlin' Wolf things, and that's and I just loved it, because I always remember going to see Dr. John at the Astoria, at the old Astoria that's not there anymore, obviously, as everything's been knocked down around there, isn't it? And he was obviously amazing, but every few songs, harmonica player would come on, and he tore the house down. Everyone was just like, it was just, you know, he would come on and
just lift
like,
it.
oh, everyone was like, oh, this is amazing, who's this? And then he'd go off, and at the end, and the song gets lifted, then, you know, and then a few more, and so it made a real impact, because that's what I think about harmonica as well. If it's on every song, it does my head in, honestly. It really does. It really does. It can be quite annoying at times, which is not a bad thing to say, but if you let it have its moments, it can be the most amazing instrument, and if it's played reasonably well, it just, you know, it can send shivers down your spine, it can make you want to jump up in the air, it can make you cry, you know, cliche, but it literally can. If it's played well, it really can, and it can, you know, it can fulfill all sorts of kind of roles in the song as well. It's just even as, you know, as a rhythm piece as well, you know, but yeah, not too much. every other song maybe, you know, which is what we do, isn't it? You know, we mix it up with guitars and harmonicas. So it's great. I was, as I say, when we spoke today earlier, and I don't think I've played one since February, which is really bad. It's shocking. It's terrible, because it's not my main instrument, but
your go-to is your.
But it's been but funny enough, it's been the instrument that people say about my guitar playing. It's been the instrument that people say, oh, can you come and play some harmonica with us, or can you come and record some harmonica? So it's in a way, it's been giving me kind of another, you know, into music as well, because there aren't a lot of harmonica players around, so if people want that, they've come to me a few times. Oh, can you come play? I was like, yeah, of course I will. You know, I absolutely love it. You know.
And that's what we used to do with you with Sid Sings.
Exactly,
you used to come up and guest, didn't you, on the Scar Box?
That's right.
Number that
we
used
did that
to do.
at Hope and Anchor, I think, didn't we?
Hope and Anchor.
And Samaritz.
Yeah, Samaritz and somewhere else as well.
I remember falling over at the Samaritz Club just before I came.
Oh, what? Drunk? No. Were you?
I think so. I think I did a Delbo. I think I missed the stairs. That was a hot day. But harmonica is an instrument you can play when you've had a few drinks, which is quite a good thing.
Really?
Yeah, I find you can do that. Yeah, or you think you are anyway.
I was going to say, isn't it more in your mind?
You think
you can.
And it's handy to carry around as well. It's better than a guitar and loads of hands and pedals and stuff. So.
We were laughing earlier, weren't we, about how when we started the Jujubes, it was meant to be this just really simple little acoustic job, and now it's ended up with more and more guitars.
4 guitars, 15 harmonicas, 2 amps.
So tell me, when I remember this when you came on the show, you were doing, I think it was The Spice of Life.
Yes.
Working with some older guys.
Yeah.
And it really struck me what you'd said, that they were a blues band, and you said you loved it because you were just learning so much.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah, because, you know, as I said earlier about, you know, you meet people in your life who have an impact on your life, or take you in another direction, or show you something different. And my friend Ned was absolutely that person when I was about 18 or 19, and I bumped into him. I sort of vaguely knew him, and I'd seen him around. We worked together, we worked in the same building, and someone told me he played the drums. You know, he will laugh at this if you see this. And so I plucked up the courage to see him, and to walk up to him in the pub. I was like, "Hello, Ned, how you doing?" He's like, "Yeah, good." I said, "How's the drums?" He's like, "Not very good." I was like, "How come?" He said, "Because I play the guitar like that." And I was like, "You play the guitar?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, cool, I play guitar as well, and I, you know, made up a load of lies that I could play all these songs. I couldn't play anything at all. And so he said, "Oh, come over at the weekend." And he only lived, I can't remember where he lived at the time. He lived in sort of South East London somewhere. And so I went over there, and he had a little black Squire, a little amp. I had my white Strat, a little amp. And I was blown away. It was just like the best thing I'd ever seen in my life. I was just amazed.
Wow.
You know, he's my favourite guitar player ever anyway. So I was just like, how do you know that? You know, he was only a couple of years older than me. He was only probably about 21.
And was he
It
doing
was
blues
like,
stuff?
yeah, it was all, he had it down. He was, he had Rory Gallagher down, so completely, absolutely had Eric Clapton down, like 100%, Peter Green as well, everything.
Yeah.
It was like, how? Like, how do you know, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Who told you? And he's like, just played, So all of a sudden, I was probably there all the time, because we had something in common. If you ever go around to his house, it's just blues music all the time, everything, there's nothing else. He's just 100% on that,
yeah.
which is amazing, So
yeah, it's great to get all that knowledge.
So we played together for a few years. We used to do just acoustic bits and pieces in sort of pubs and clubs, and but we used to jam mostly. I used to go to his house, and that's where I learned to play guitar. Really, I used to go to his house, or he'd come over to mine, maybe once or twice a week, and we'd just sit there, have a drink, either play acoustics or just plug in the electrics and just jam for hours, like non-stop for 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, and just play until you just couldn't play anymore. And he never taught me anything. I just watched, I just watched what he was doing, and and picked up everything pretty much that I know from him, And so then he went off to America for a few years and played over there, did really well over there, and then came back. And then he joined the blues band, who I used to go and watch at the Spice of Life with Clive and Roger, etc. And I was a fan because there was my friend, and they were playing up the road, so I was working around the corner. So it was like, why wouldn't I go there? To see them play. I just love it. You could have a drink, and they'd do like an hour set, and then they'd always have a jam afterwards. But I was so unsure of myself and my playing, so I'd never go up. I'd never take a guitar, and they'd say, take a guitar and go and play. I was like, no, I can't, it's like, you're brilliant, I've kind of done that, I've given up, because I hadn't played for a long time either as well, so I kind of stopped playing completely for a few years.
And why was that then?
I think it was just, I don't know really. You can say it was maybe sort of, having a family and having different priorities and different perspectives. I still love music, but I'd kind of fallen out of love with actually playing. Still enjoyed listening to it. But I don't know why really. Maybe because we had such an intense time of playing all the time.
Yes.
And then I didn't have anyone else to play with, and so
playing by myself. People around
so playing by myself was just a bit sort of seemed a bit sort of pointless. It was a bit of a shame really. I do regret that. But I made up for it afterwards. And but yeah, I used to go and see them for a few years, playing there, and then they were called the Lucifers at the time, and then they kind of split up, and then they wanted to reform again, and they'd said to me, "Oh, can you come and do this gig at cricket club somewhere down the road?" And I was like, "Oh, no, I'm not really into that at all. I don't really. I'll come and watch you, and clap, and and sit there and go, well, I wish I could do that, And he was like, just come and play, stop messing about, and all that. So yeah, I went and I played guitar and played harmonica.
Wow.
And they were just basically just said, you're in the band now. I didn't have any choice,
wow.
Which was really nice. It was amazing,
Yeah.
They just said, it doesn't matter what you think, you're in the band anyway. So, and then that was it. And then we played at Spice for quite a few years.
And what sort of songs were you doing?
It was all it was mainly sort of Chicago blues stuff. It was I've got the similar kind of similar stuff to what we do, all the old classics,
Yeah.
And we used to do Walking by Myself, which was great. So I could do that.
Yeah.
And it was really like Chicago blues stuff. That's what we kind of based ourselves on, really, a Chicago blues band. And 3 guitarists, and then I could drop out and play harmonica as well. And fantastic, absolutely brilliant band, such good fun as well. And that's what what it's all about. Is fun, isn't it? And
it sounds like they were really generous as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Sharing.
Just like amazing players and amazingly nice people. And we've done about 3 farewell gigs, I think, because people moved away, and But we'll probably have another farewell gig at some stage. So and I think the last time we hadn't played for like about 18 months or something, just got up and played, and it's brilliant.
That's
just
nice.
Because you can do that with the blues, can't you? You can, it can be, if you want to play it, it's a simple music. To play it really well, it's really hard.
It's really hard to do it well.
It's really hard. But you can,
people that aren't into blues don't get that at all, but it's really easy to do it really naffily and badly, isn't it? It really is.
So that was a learning experience. That was totally, that's pretty hardcore. You're just getting up there in front of, a lot of musicians as well, really good musicians, really nice people. But they're watching you what you do, you've got to kind of prove yourself, and a couple of times I was bloody awful, I could barely play guitar a couple of nights, and I look back and think, what were you doing? But it's a learning experience, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And you get over yourself, you get over that, and you get over your fear, and you get over your insecurities, and
it's the only way to learn, isn't it? You have to get on and do it.
It's like being pushed in the swimming pool. It really is. It literally is. Some people just do it naturally. Other people just need they do need a bit of a nudge. And I did. And then from then never stopped playing really. And